There are people in this world who carry a quiet heaviness inside them. You have seen them. Maybe you are one of them. The ones who smile softly but with tired eyes. The ones who say, "I am fine," with a voice that feels like it has learned to hide entire storms behind a single breath. And if you watch closely, really closely, you notice the way they hesitate before answering, as if deciding how much truth the world can handle from them today. People who have gone through too much often move through life the same way someone walks through a room full of fragile things, carefully, quietly, trying not to disturb anything or anyone, including themselves. Maybe it started years ago. Maybe it started yesterday. Maybe it started when no one was paying attention. But there is a moment, a private, invisible moment, when a person realizes life has demanded more from them than they ever had to give. And instead of breaking loudly, they break inwardly, softly, silently. Not in front of anyone, not even in front of themselves at first. You might remember a time when you were sitting alone at night, staring at your phone, wanting to text someone for help but closing the screen because you did not want to be a burden. Or maybe you have watched someone you care about laugh at a joke a little too quickly, a little too brightly, as if trying to convince the world and themselves that they are okay. People who have been through too much become experts in emotional magic tricks, making pain disappear right before your eyes, while it still throbs underneath their skin. It is in the way they pause before entering a room, checking their own expression like a mask that needs adjusting. It is in the way they say, "No worries," even when there are worries. "It's okay," even when it is not. "I'll handle it," even when handling it feels like holding up an entire collapsing ceiling with trembling hands. They learn emotional masking the way a child learns language, by necessity, by survival, by repetition. Eventually, the mask feels natural, even comforting, and the world never realizes how heavy it is. Somewhere in the quiet corners of their mind, there is a running monologue. Do not say too much. Do not feel too loudly. Do not ask for help. Do not need anything. Do not be the reason someone else feels tired. This is self-silencing, but it does not announce itself. It simply becomes the default, like a dimmer switch slowly turning down until the room feels darker than you remember, and you cannot tell when the light began to fade. People who have gone through too much often walk around with a nervous system that has forgotten what safety feels like. Even small things can feel overwhelming. A message left unread, a slight change in someone's tone, a long silence, a closed door, a shifting expression. They begin to scan for danger everywhere, even in places where love exists. It is not because they are dramatic, it is because their mind has learned to prepare for impact long before anything actually happens. It is a hidden survival strategy, an ancient part of the brain trying desperately to protect them from ever feeling that same pain again. But this constant scanning creates cognitive dissonance inside them. Part of them wants to trust, to breathe, to relax into relationships. And another part whispers, "Be careful." The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. So they love people deeply, but fear abandonment constantly. They crave closeness, but avoid vulnerability. Their heart reaches out while their hands pull back. It is a quiet tug of war happening beneath their smile. And when you ask them what is wrong, they often do not know how to answer. Not because nothing is wrong, but because everything feels tangled. How do you explain the weight of years? How do you compress a lifetime of swallowed feelings into a sentence? How do you admit that you have been hurt so many times you have stopped trusting your own voice? Their silence is not emptiness, it is overflowing. Sometimes you see them in everyday life. The friend who makes sure everyone else is okay before thinking about themselves. The co-worker who never asks for help but helps everyone. The sibling who jokes about their trauma as if making it funny makes it smaller. The partner who apologizes too quickly, too often. The parent who hides their tears in the shower. The person who flinches slightly when someone raises their voice, even if it is not directed at them. These are micro-expressions of long stories. Echoes of battles fought in bedrooms, bathrooms, lonely cars, late-night walks, childhood rooms where no one listened. People who have gone through too much also learn identity suppression. They shape-shift to fit the comfort of others. If you need them to be strong, they become stone. If you need them to be gentle, they become water. If you need them to be quiet, they silence themselves. If you need them to be cheerful, they stitch a smile onto their tired face. Over time, they forget the contours of their true self. They become a living echo of other people's needs, and they do not even notice the disappearance happening inside them. And yet, they are often the kindest people you will ever meet, because they know what pain feels like. They know what it is like to feel helpless. They know what it is like to survive moments that should have broken them. And so they move through life with a softness that hides unimaginable strength. They give others the compassion they were denied. They show up for people in ways no one showed up for them. But even this kindness carries a shadow, the shadow of learned helplessness. After being hurt or ignored repeatedly, a part of them starts to believe that no matter what they do, no one will truly show up for them. So they stop asking. They start doing everything alone. They start carrying everything alone. They start healing alone. And the world applauds them for being so strong without realizing that strength was never a choice. It was the last option left. This constant emotional endurance comes with a cost. They become exhausted in ways that sleep cannot fix. They feel lonely even when surrounded by people. They start to worry that if anyone saw their real self, the tired, hurting, overwhelmed self, they would turn away. So they compress their emotions into a quiet, invisible box inside their chest. They lock it, they swallow the key, and then they smile. If you have ever wondered why someone withdraws suddenly, why they shut down during conflict, why they ghost people they care about, why they stare off into space with a distant look in their eyes, this is why. Their mind is trying to protect them from a world that once hurt them deeply. Avoidance becomes a defense. Emotional distance becomes armor. Overthinking becomes a map of the places they are terrified to revisit. And if this sounds like someone you know, or someone you love, or someone you used to be, you are not imagining it. There are small signs everywhere. The way they double text then apologize. The way they check in on others but never share anything about themselves. The way they downplay their accomplishments. The way they say, "I do not want to bother you." The way they pretend they do not care when they care too much. The way they go silent, not because they do not feel, but because they feel too deeply and have no safe place to put those feelings. Sometimes you may see them freeze for a moment during an argument, not because they do not have something to say, but because their nervous system has flipped into shutdown mode. Their body chooses silence over danger, and afterward they replay the conversation in their mind 100 times, wishing they had spoken up. Shame cycles wrap around them like vines. Shame for being hurt, shame for feeling too much, shame for not knowing how to express it. If you look closely enough, you can see the child inside them. The child who learned to be quiet to avoid being yelled at, who learned to be helpful to earn affection, who learned to disappear so no one would be disappointed. That child grew up, but the patterns stayed. Childhood does not end when you leave home. It ends when your nervous system finally learns it is safe. To recognize this in yourself is to suddenly understand why you respond the way you do, why loud voices make your heart race, why kindness makes you suspicious, why praise feels uncomfortable, why you over-explain, why you apologize even when you did nothing wrong, why you crave closeness but push people away the moment you start to care. These are not flaws. These are adaptations, intelligent, protective, once necessary adaptations. And now there comes a quiet moment of truth. The moment you start asking yourself questions you were once afraid to ask. Am I still living in the shadows of old wounds? Do I hide parts of myself because I fear they will be rejected? Have I mistaken emotional numbness for strength? Do I silence my needs because I believe no one will meet them? Am I carrying pain that does not belong to the person I have become? Do I know how to let someone truly see me? Do I believe I deserve gentleness, or do I still flinch from it? It is in these questions that healing begins. Not suddenly, not perfectly, not all at once. Healing starts with noticing, with pausing, with recognizing the walls you built and asking whether they still protect you or simply keep the world out. You do not have to tear them down. Just open a small window. Let light in, let breath in, let possibility in. You do not have to share everything with everyone, but share something with someone. One honest sentence, one small truth, one moment of letting your voice tremble without silencing it. Healing does not require loud declarations. It often begins with the softest whisper, "I am hurting and I do not want to carry this alone anymore." You can start by checking in with yourself each day, not with judgment but with curiosity. Softly name what you feel. Sit with your truth, even if it is uncomfortable. Notice when your body tenses, when your voice fades, when your mind runs. These are signals, not defects. Signals asking for care, signals asking for safety, signals asking for rest. And look for these signs in others. That friend who always says they are fine, That co-worker who looks tired behind their smile, that sibling who hides their hurt with humor, that partner who retreats when overwhelmed. Give them softness, give them space without abandonment, ask twice if they are okay, listen without fixing, offer presence instead of solutions. Sometimes the most healing sentence is simply, you do not have to carry this alone. And if you are someone who has gone through too much, I want you to hear something gently, clearly, with no rush and no pressure. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are not broken for struggling. You are not difficult for needing care. You are not dramatic for being shaped by what you survived. You adapted, you endured. You made it through what would have shattered others. But you deserve more than survival now. You deserve slowness. You deserve comfort. You deserve people who do not require you to hide. You deserve to feel safe in your own body, your own mind, your own heart. You deserve to take up space. You deserve to be loved in ways that do not hurt. And you deserve to unlearn the belief that you must face everything alone. You are allowed to rest now. You are allowed to soften now. You are allowed to rebuild the parts of you that were silenced. The world may have demanded too much from you, but healing will not. Healing will ask for small steps, gentle steps, honest steps, and every step counts. As this story ends, but your journey continues, carry this with you like a small, warm light in your hands. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not too much. You are simply someone who has carried more than most people will ever understand. And yet here you are, breathing, trying, learning, healing. You are proof that even after everything, a heart can quietly begin again. And one day, perhaps sooner than you expect, you will look at yourself and realize the weight is lighter, the world is softer, and you are finally allowed to feel safe.